Most Bakra players think they lose because of bad luck. But what if the real reason has nothing to do with the cards, and everything to do with what happens after a losing streak? Because in Bakra, the most dangerous moment isn't when you lose a hand. It's the hand right after. Welcome to Bet 5. Today we're breaking down the Bakra tilt cycle, the psychological trap that quietly destroys bankrolls, clouds judgment, and turns disciplined players into emotional bettors in just minutes. And once you recognize this cycle, you'll start seeing it everywhere. It usually starts small. A player loses one hand they felt confident about. No big deal. Then another. Still manageable. But by the third or fourth loss, something changes psychologically. The bets get slightly bigger, the thinking gets faster, and emotions quietly take control. Suddenly, the mindset becomes, I just need one good hand to recover. And that sentence alone has destroyed more bankrolls than bad strategy ever could. Because the moment recovery becomes the goal, discipline disappears. And this is exactly why Bakra becomes dangerous. Not because the game is difficult, but because emotionally, it feels predictable. The game moves fast, very fast. Online Bakra tables can finish rounds in just a few minutes, giving players almost no time to process losses before placing another bet. That speed creates emotional momentum, and emotional momentum is where tilt begins. You stop analyzing. You stop staying patient. You stop following limits. And instead, you start reacting. One more hand, then another, then another. Not because the odds changed, but because emotionally, you feel trapped between frustration and hope. And casinos understand this psychology extremely well. Why do you think scoreboards and streaks are always visible? Because emotional players bet differently than calm players. Now here's where things become even more dangerous. Tilt doesn't always look emotional on the outside. Some players don't panic. They actually become quieter, more focused, more convinced they're due for a win. And that false confidence creates the biggest trap of all, the illusion of control. A player sees 3 players in a row, then 4 bankers, then a sudden pattern shift, and immediately the brain starts trying to force meaning into randomness. Player can't hit again, banker is due. This streak looks different, but Bakra has no memory. The next hand does not care about the previous one. And yet, emotionally, players behave as if the table owes them balance. That belief is what keeps tilt alive. The smartest Bakra players understand something most people never fully accept. The goal is not to win every session. The goal is to stay emotionally controlled long enough to make rational decisions. That's the difference between disciplined players and emotional players. Disciplined players accept losses calmly, keep bet sizes consistent, take breaks after emotional swings, and know when to walk away. Emotional players do the opposite. They increase pressure when emotions are highest. And that's usually the exact moment bankrolls collapse. Because the real battle in Bakra isn't player versus banker. It's you versus emotion. So next time you play, pay attention to this. After a loss, are you still following logic? Or are you trying to escape the feeling of losing? Because the answer to that question usually determines what happens next. If you enjoyed this deeper breakdown from Bet 5, subscribe for more Bakra psychology, bankroll strategy, and real game analysis. And in the next video, do Bakra patterns actually work? Or is the brain just seeing what it wants to see? See you in the next one.